are getting ready to go with round number 13 of the 2017 Indy Lights Championship presented by Cooper Tires. Today it is the Cooper Tires Indy Lights Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio presented by Allied Building Products. On the front row, the man who will lead him to the green flag, Santiago Urrutia. Santi, you had a great weekend here last year when you were fighting for that Indy Lights Championship. Starting on the pole position, you know this track very well. What do you enjoy so much about racing here at Mid-Ohio?
Yeah, I mean, what I would say, I have a great car. Did a pole position yesterday. Today I missed the pole by 10 because I did a mistake. I think I have the car to win the race. This track is kind of like slippery everywhere, and that works a little bit with my start. So I think that's the key. But I mean, yeah, it's good to be here at pole position, and now looking forward to the race.
Your Bilardi Auto Racing number 5 machine does look beautiful. It shines so well in this Ohio sun. It's a beautiful weekend. Are you at least having fun here when you're not on track?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the fans here are incredible. I remember last year a lot of people, and today is only Saturday, and you can see a lot of fun here. The car looks awesome. Our guys did a great job, so car is fast, car is good, and now make it done on the race.
Your Prada sunglasses look great.
Thank you very much.
Santiago Urrutia, folks, he is our pole sitter. He'll be leading the field of the green flag. Santi, thanks so much. Good luck today. We're going to keep moving. We got a little bit of time. We're going to do a little bit of a grid walk here on the pit lane before Indy Lights round number 13 of the 2017 season gets started. Nico Jamin, we're going to talk to him here shortly. He's Mr. Mid-Ohio. He has won 5 races. Nico, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Mr. Mid-Ohio, we did an interview with you last night, and that's what a lot of people call you, not just me. 5 straight wins here from 2015, 2016. You're trying to go for win number 6 in a row. How do you feel about that today?
I'm feeling great. Good starting position. Third, I think it's going to be good to have the inside in turn 1. We'll see if we can make any move. It's pretty hard to pass here, so I think it will be all in the first few laps of the race. So I'll try to go for it. I would love to make it 6 out of 6.
6 out of 6 would be impressive, quite clearly to the folks listening around the track and watching live on Road to Indy TV. You don't sound like you're from here in America or from Ohio. You're obviously not from America. You're from France. This track is very technical. Is there anywhere like this back home that you grew up racing on that is similar to Mid-Ohio? This is a very fast, very technical, challenging track. Have you ever seen anything like this in your racing experience?
No, it's very different. It's one of those very unique American tracks that I really love, and always enjoy coming here in Mid-Ohio and see all the fans, great atmosphere. I hope you guys enjoy the race.
No kidding, you enjoy coming here. 5 straight wins, going for number 6 today. Best of luck. Nico Jamin, Mr. Mid-Ohio. We're going to keep moving here. We got Colton Herta over here. He's sitting on the pit wall. Let's see if we can talk to him. Sitting next to his dad, Brian. Colton's just relaxing, taking it in. Colton, we're doing a little bit of a grid walk. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Dad, how are you?
Awesome.
What are you expecting out of Colton here? Mid-Ohio, it's a fast track.
It's a great place. It's great that the Indy Lights cars get to race here with the Indy cars, and I've had a lot of great memories here. I love watching him race here now. A lot of fans. It's a great place for IndyCar.
This is a great place for IndyCar, and the fan support, it's so cool to see everyone lining the garages here watching. What advice do you have for Colton before we throw the green flag on this thing today?
I don't give him a lot of advice. He does a great job. He's doing a better job than I did at his age by a long way. So I enjoy just watching him and cheering him on. I'm sure he's going to have a great day today.
All right, Brian, thanks so much. Colton, you having fun? You ready to go? Starting off pole. You got anything for Santi here, first corner?
We had pole this morning, so for sure we have something for him. It's all about getting in clean air, getting a good run, and conserving the tires.
Colton Herta, thanks so much. Brian, thanks for the time, guys. Enjoy it. We're going to keep moving along here and finding who else we can talk to. We're just moving down the starting grid here. We talked to Nico Jamin, Mr. Mid-Ohio. Starting next to him, Shelby Blackstock, a good starting position for the young man. Shelby, always great to see you.
Good to see you. How have you been, Tony?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Anytime I get to talk to you, it's always enjoyable. Indy Lights Racing, top level of the Mazda Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. You guys are fighting for a chance to race an IndyCar next year. What kind of pressure is that like?
It's a big pressure, but there's a lot more in it just than the racing. So everybody's going to go out there and do their best, and we'll see how the day goes.
What's the key to being fast here this weekend?
Have a really good front end. The car needs to be very, very loose to keep the minimal speed up. So that's pretty much why everybody's looking like they're saving it every lap.
All right, have a strong front end. Shelby Blackstock, words of wisdom. Thanks a bunch. Starting row 2, get out there and get jiggy with it, okay?
I'll get jiggy with it. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, Shelby. Always an honor. I love coming in when I know you're at the track. It's always fun coming in. We're just going to keep moving here. We got a few more minutes on Grid Walk. Chad, the cameraman's getting a workout in. This is the most walking I've done all month, so it's a good place, a good weather to do it. We're seeing who's not in their cars just yet. Zachary Clayman DeMello here in the number 13. Kyle Kaiser, our championship point leader. He's putting the helmet on. Probably the last thing he wants to do is talk to me. Kyle, you ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right, championship point lead. We got 2 races here this weekend. You guys go to the Oval at Gateway at the end of August, and then it's Watkins Glen for only one more race to decide the championship. You're in the driver's seat right now. You could be in the Indianapolis 500 next year. What does that do for you with just 4 races remaining mentally?
My plan is just go out there, race hard, and finish the race.
I like your modesty, and I like your intensity. Kyle, good luck.
Thank you.
Kyle Kaiser, our championship point leader. He'll be coming from the outside of row number 3. Aaron Teal, our Soul Red Mazda car back there in row number 4, putting the helmet on, ready to go. Our champion in Pro Mazda last year. He's got that Mazda scholarship check, and that is what puts him into this Indy Lights field here in 2017. He picked up a win at round number 1 in St. Petersburg. We're getting ready to go. So at this time, we need all drivers to your cars. Again, we need all Indy Lights drivers to your cars. It's round number 13 of 2017, the Cooper Tires Indy Lights Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, presented by Allied Building Products. Drivers to your cars. We see the field filling up now. Zachary Clayman DeMello, Kyle Kaiser here in row number 3, Nico Jamin, Shelby Blackstock, row number 2, Colton Herta, and Santiago Urrutia make up that front row. It is going to be a long race. It's going to be a fast race. It's going to be an exciting race. We're going to keep walking around pit lane here, see if there's anybody else we can talk to. Keep an eye on Ryan Norman, local driver. Just about an hour away here in Ohio. He's got the Journey colors on his car as drivers are getting strapped in and ready to go. I think all of our Mazda and Cooper Tire folks. Kyle Kimball's here. Let's go talk to Kyle Kimball from Mazda Motorsports. Find out exactly what these drivers need to know going into today's race. Kyle, we got a minute before we go racing. We talked to John Doonan before this thing went green in USF 2000. Mazda Motorsports, the motivation to have grassroots level racing and get young drivers all the way up the ladder. Where does that motivation, where does that love of racing come from?
Well, everybody at Mazda, we are racers. Everybody from our, all the way from the executive committee to John Doonan, we are racers away from the office. So when we get to the track and we can help these young men and women navigate the motorsports waters and hopefully all the way up to the Verizon IndyCar Series, that's what motivates us.
They are tricky waters to navigate these days. There's so many options that young, mostly go-karters, can choose as far as junior open-wheel racing if they want to have a career in professional open-wheel racing. But truly, there is only one ladder system that takes drivers out of karting and produces them literally into the Verizon IndyCar Series, and that's the Mazda Road to Indy.
This is it. You want to be a Verizon IndyCar Series, you race in the Mazda Road to Indy. It's very, very simple. Coming out of go-karts, the scholarship into USF 2000 for $200,000, and then the scholarship from USF 2000 to Pro Mazda at $325,000, and then the scholarship for the Pro Mazda winner up into Indy Lights for $700,000 cash from Mazda, over $1 million in value. It's something special, and this is the only place to do it in the world.
Doesn't that just make you want to say, show me the money?
Show me the money.
All right, with that, we're getting ready to go racing. It's round number 13 of 2017, the Cooper Tires Indy Lights Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, presented by Allied Building Products. We're going to meet the starting lineup coming up next. Thanks, brother. Thank you, Chad. That was a lot of fun, dude. Tell Robin thank you. We're going to be over here.
So we now have the drivers on track, or on the grid here, and ready to fire things up. We are minutes away from the start of this event. The Cooper Tires Indy Lights Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, presented by Allied Building Products. 14 drivers set to go, and as Tony illustrated and talking to these guys, what a prize up for grabs for the champion here. Someone is going to win the scholarship worth $1 million to run in 3 races next year in the Verizon IndyCar Series, including the 102nd running of the Indianapolis 500. Let's have a look at the grid right now. We're about 5 minutes away. Row number 7. Starting in the 14th position for Carlin Racing out of Pennsylvania, it's Garth Rickards in the number 11. Rickards in the 11, starting 14th. Alongside him, a rookie driver out of Argentina, Nico DePero, in the number 31 for Uncos Racing. He'll start in the 13th position. Moving now to row number 6, starting in the 12th position, a driver who has won on 3 occasions this year. Very impressive driver. He won at Road America. He was able to win at Iowa Speedway, and he won the Freedom 100 as well. That is Mateus Lace, the Brazilian driver for Carlin Racing, starting in the 26th, number 26 in the 12th position. Moving up to the 11th position. Inside of row number 6, a brilliant yellow Team Pelfrey car. Always easy to spot the Team Pelfrey cars on track. That's Juan Pedrejita from Bogota, Colombia, in that number 2. Pedrejita, a 1:13.046 in qualifying, puts him on the inside of row number 6. In now to the top 5 rows, top 10 on the outside. In the Journey-sponsored Andretti Autosport number 48 out of Ohio, Aurora, Ohio to be exact, Ryan Norman, the rookie driver in the 48, starting in the 10th position. Inside of that row, the young driver from Canada has a couple of really solid finishes of late. Dalton Kellett in the Andretti Autosport K-Line Insulators number 28, starting in the 9th position. As I said, Kellett on a roll with some pretty solid finishes, looking to have a good one here at Mid-Ohio today. Row number 4, it'll see Neil Alberico, the driver out of Los Gatos, California, a winner in USF 2000, a winner in Pro Mazda, looking for his first victory here in the Indy Lights program for Carlin Racing. Alberico in the 22. Inside of that row, the driver who kicked off the season with the championship lead, because he won that first race at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. He's your reigning champion in the Pro Mazda championship. Fantastic season last year. Aaron Tielitz for Bilardi Auto Racing. Of course, that championship gave him the scholarship to run here in Indy Lights, and he will have that Soul Red livery on that car that is, again, dedicated to the drivers who have won scholarships. Tielitz in the number 9, starting in the 7th position. Moving now to row number 3, starting on the outside, the driver with the championship lead. He will start in the 6th position. That's Kyle Kaiser out of Santa Clara, California for Uncos Racing. He swept the weekend on the streets of Toronto, looking for a good finish here to continue leading these points as we head to the finale at Watkins Glen on Labor Day weekend. Alongside Kyle Kaiser, young driver who scored a victory at Road America, 2nd year of the series for Carlin Racing, the Canadian out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, in the number 13, Zachary Clayman DeMello. Moving now to row number 2 on the outside. He scored his first career podium finish in Indy Lights here just 2 years ago. That's Shelby Blackstock in the number 51. Impressive driver for Bilardi Auto Racing. He'll start in the 4th position. Great qualifying effort for Shelby. He'll start alongside a driver who has won 5 straight races here in USF 2000. Swept last year in Pro Mazda. Nico Jamin in the Andretti Autosports number 27. The rookie starting in the 3rd position. 2 wins already this year for Nico Jamin. 14 drivers in the field. We'll put 2 on the front row. Off pole, another guy who has won races already this year. Rookie driver for Andretti Steinbrenner Racing. It's the 2nd generation pilot, Colton Herta, in the number 98. The rookie starting on the outside of row 1. But the driver they're going to chase here today, starting on the pole position for Bilardi Auto Racing, swept the weekend last year, won both races en route to 2nd in the championship from Uruguay. Santi Urrutia in the number 5 Aero-sponsored car, that black and gold livery, very similar to James Hinchcliffe. Urrutia starting that number 5 P1, front of the grid, looking to score his first win of 2017. It'll be Herta and Urrutia on row 1, Jamin Blackstock row 2, Clayman DeMello and Kaiser row 3, Tielitz and Alberico on row number 4. Row 5 will be Kellett and Norman. Row 6, Pedrejita and Laced. Row 7 will be DePero and Garth Ricards. Folks, we're getting ready to fire things up right now. I got a couple of guests down here with me. Joshua Ney and Jerry Danhoff are going to give me the call to fire here now as we're almost set to go to light these guys up. 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, getting ready to fire things up here. The call to fire.
On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires,
drivers, start your Mazda engines.
Engines come to life here on pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go Indy Lights Racing, the first race of the doubleheader here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Thanks so much, Rob Howden, as we're ready to get this show on the road. First of 2 Indy Lights races here this weekend at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, all part of the Honda Indy 200 Verizon IndyCar Series event for 2017. As these cars getting wound up here, 2-liter turbocharged Mazda MZRR engines producing 450 horsepower with a 50 horsepower push-to-pass button available for all of these drivers, making great preparation for the Verizon IndyCar Series. Field is on its way around on its pace lap. We understand there will be 2 pace laps for this race. Let's follow them around as they leave my view. They're into the view of Rusty Bell. 2 more races to go today, Rusty. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a good one. They've all been good so far this weekend, and looking forward to the first race here for the Indy Lights. I pick up the cars. They're coming underneath the Turn 1 bridge, which is also the exit of the pit lane. And then they go on an uphill stretch, a straightaway up into the top of the keyhole, where they have some hard braking there, and then around the keyhole, which is a 180-degree downhill off-camber turn, catches a lot of drivers out as they make their way onto the long back straightaway. 3,000 feet long. They come through the kink and then down into the heavy braking area, best passing area on the racetrack.
Down into turn number 4. They climb the hill into turn 5, and they're right at the feet when they do that of Brian Culbertson. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, speaking of that pace car, that Mazda pace car makes its way just past my feet. Turn number 4 is a hard right-hand turn at the end of that 3,000-foot-long straightaway. They drop down into a small valley. There they climb the hill into 5. 5's a left-hander. They drop back down into that valley once again. Turn right. Headed into turn number 6. They go out of my view underneath the Honda Bridge, and they make their way to Thunder Valley.
And Thunder Valley is the place where Tom Michaels keeps us up to speed on all the goings-on. Tom, how's it looking out there, my friend?
Looking as beautiful as it has all day. It's getting warmed up out here. The cars are getting warmed up for their race just ahead. We look at them just off of turn 9. We can see them coming off 7, then a consecutive group of right-handers at 8 and 9 over the little bit of a rise down through Thunder Valley into the right-hander, which is turn 10. It kind of gently bends around there, and then into the left-hander, fastest part of the race course as far as the turn is concerned, up there in turn 11. That puts them there in the carousel turn, John.
And they're coming by the start-finish line for the first time on their first of 2 pace laps. Again, they need to get some temperature into these Cooper tires. Of course, every car in the Mazda Road to Indy on Cooper rubber. And Cooper Tires, the official tire here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And we're so glad to have them with us as I speak to you from the Cooper Press Tower overlooking the finish line here at Mid-Ohio. This race, we understand, will start on the front straightaway, as they have been all of the Mazda Road to Indy races, as the pace car will bring them around one more time. Unlike the other 2 classes, they give these racers 1 extra pace lap to be sure they get some good temperature in the tires, get these turbocharged engines spooled up, get some good oil temperature so that they're able to get the job done when they drop the hammer here coming onto the front straightaway. This race, unlike the others, is not only a timed race. It is a 30-lap race with a 45-minute time limit. So if we don't have any full course yellows, we'll certainly get all 30 laps in. But if we have to slow the field down due to an incident, we could run afoul of that 45-minute time limit. So this is the first race where laps count, not necessarily the running time. Brian Culbertson, field should be up in the S's by now, I think.
They are. They're about halfway through the S's right now. A potential of 7,000 horsepower on the track right now. That Mazda turbo power making its way through the S's. They're going to go by Tom Michael, and we'll get ready to let him go.
I love the math that you do over there. You can come up with that many horsepower. I can't even count how many cars around here. So we watch them as they get ready to take the green and go for 30 laps here at Mid-Ohio.
I like the way that he did the math in his head. That's even the best part of it. As here comes the pace car into view, the field already beginning to form up in rows of 2. Santi Urrutia, who has been the man to beat all weekend long. He swept the weekend a year ago on the way to second in the championship, but Colton Herta was looking really strong in the final qualifying session. The Soul Red Mazda pace car comes down the pit lane, and we are ready to roll onto the front straightaway. There's a start line where they can drop the throttle, and we have a waving yellow flag. No start, and I have no reason why. A yellow flag waved just as the field was exiting the carousel turn. It wasn't an issue of the front row not being properly aligned. I see. Okay, we're getting word from the starter that the front row was not maintaining pace car speed. Basically what happens when the pace car pulls into the pit lane, they are not allowed to accelerate. They must maintain the same pace as they were. And apparently the starter said you didn't do that. So the starter has that option. The clock has begun. This is lap 1 of the race underway, despite the fact that it is under yellow flag conditions. So we're going to get a chance to do it again.
Field working its way down the straightaway now. So now they don't have to maintain pace car speed because there isn't one. So it's just up to the front row or the pole sitter, Santi Urrutia, to set that pace, any pace he wants, as they will work their way into the carousel turn, and we'll look for a green flag this lap.
Look for Colton Herta to be very good on the start here. He was great this morning. The track was probably a little bit slick when they qualified, and he was fast. So watch Colton Herta.
Field coming by. Here to turn 9. Now forming up as they go underneath the pedestrian bridge just before turn number 10. 14-car field getting ready for this 30-lap go.
You know, it's great to hear these turbocharged engines. Tom was mentioning yesterday that a lot of these engines, you'll hear the characteristic chirp of the wastegate opening as they're on trailing throttle on downshifts, and you can hear those engines popping and crackling as they're getting themselves ready to roll. Coming through the carousel turn, a very slow pace this time, so I think the front row trying to make sure that the starter is happy with the alignment. Colton Herta in the white, number 98. Santi Urrutia in that brilliant gold and black livery, number 5. Onto the front straightaway they come.
Happens. Wow. So, and you called it, Davey. Another yellow flag being displayed by Tom Hansing. They didn't like the start. And you're right. Race control is now put in an interesting predicament because Santi Urrutia twice now has kind of blown this start. And if Davey will wait a word if a penalty is handed down, but if there is one, it's very understandable because it just doesn't look good how slow they're coming through the carousel.
As they used to tell us in the short track industry, if you guys in the front row can't handle it, the guys in the next row can. So you just put them to the back, and boy, that you learned quickly to put a proper start together because that was two terrible, the worst pace laps I think I've seen for years trying to come down that slow.
Well, Jake Query, the alignment in the start of these races hasn't looked very good. How about the hillside there out by you in the keyhole? Fans filling in on this beautiful Saturday?
They had it filled, as a matter of fact, for qualifying in the Verizon IndyCar Series and stuck around. There are, of course, a handful of spotters here up on the hill in the keyhole, but it is a wonderful view. It is looking out over a blue sky and, of course, the hills here of Mid-Ohio that dot along the horizon, water tower off in the distance, and just a bare sweep of clouds off in the horizon. But Michael Young, it couldn't be a more beautiful day right now. That start might not have been the prettiest thing in the world, but this day certainly is.
I grew up in Northwest Ohio, so I know bad days and I know some hot summer days, and this is one of the finest that I can remember in recent memory. This is a beautiful afternoon, the wind just right, and as Dave First had said, with that low humidity, it doesn't get much better than this in Mid-Ohio. And to attest to that, the fans have come out in droves today for a Saturday. A great crowd as they line these hills. Let's see if we can get this Indy Lights race underway.
Hopefully third time is a charm, Davey Hamilton, as here they come approaching the carousel. Tony Cotman said, hey, I'll let the 98 car be the pole sitter if I have to.
Well, the speed's already picked up some. Not probably where it needs to be, but way better. So he definitely has some momentum through those final corners. This looks much, much better. And, yeah, when he probably heard that he'll put Colton Herta on that inside, he came to attention on that.
Here's the green flag. Are we going to see it? We will. And we're racing at Mid-Ohio in the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires. Nice jump by Santi Urrutia. The Andretti teammates go side by side, but it's Urrutia and Herta 1-2 heading to turn 2.
Colton Herta now going to try to get down to the inside. Santi Urrutia shut the door. As a matter of fact, Nico Jamin had to lock up the brakes. That allowed Shelby Blackstock, a good look. But Jamin now going to get around Herta. He now sets his sights on Santi Urrutia.
And for Santi Urrutia, already a 4-car length advantage as we have some action to the inside of the track. That's Nico Jamin, looks to the inside of Colton Herta. Further back, too wide. Near contact between Nico Jamin and Colton Herta. He'll force Herta to drop back to the third position. Blackstock Blackstock will be in the 4th position, and then it's the machine of Zachary Clayman DeMello. Good, clean start, and the field already through to turn number 7.
Boy, they are absolutely slugging it out for that 2nd position as Urrutia gets away by about 3 or 4 car lengths. It finally looks like Nico Jamin's going to hold that spot down for now as that car dances at the bottom of the hill. Jamin runs 2nd, then you've got Colton Herta in 3rd. Shelby Blackstock gets a little sideways. That opened the door for the 5th place running of car of Zachary Clayman DeMello as they stack up, Davey, out of turn 13.
Well, and I think one important thing, we look at Kaiser's in that 6th position where he started, not losing any ground right now, still looking good in the points championship, but I'll have to say no surprise that Sante has taken off at this point. Ooh, we see Blackstock get off track just a little bit again.
And here comes Clayman DeMello, Jake, to the outside.
Clayman DeMello is going to try to make that move. Now, he might run out of real estate. He does. Tuck's now in behind Shelby Blackstock. This, again, the battle for 4th. Front 3 checked out, but Clayman DeMello going to take another look at Shelby Blackstock.
About a 2nd advantage, I would say, for Santi Urrutia. 5 car lengths now. Colton Herta starts to look to the inside of Nico Jamin. Jamin shuts the door. Then it's the battle further back in the field. Zachary Clayman DeMello has all kinds of mirror full of his teammate Neil Albarico. Further back, it's Aaron Thielens and Dalton Kellett as Kellett gets around Aaron Thielens. We got some great battles. Nick Yeoman towards the back of this field.
Road course racing, Davey, when 2 cars start to battle, it sucks up everybody else and it allows these guys to get awful aggressive.
Yeah, just as I talk about our points later, he goes back to 10th position, lost some valuable ground right there. So, but boy, it's getting dicey right now with Albarico, Kellett, and Thielens in that 6th, 7th, and 8th position.
Santi Urrutia, the leader. He's going to cross the start-finish line. This will actually be to complete lap number 4. We did count those first 2 laps that we did not officially get started. Front 3, though, Jake Query, streak out of turn number 1. It doesn't look like Jamin or Herta necessarily letting Urrutia get away early on.
Little more status quo this time by Urrutia, and then behind him, Jamin and Herta. Now let's take a look in at the points leader, Kyle Kaiser. One has to wonder, as he's behind Juan Pedrahita, whether or not he didn't decide to play it a little bit conservative because of the fact Mateus Leist was behind him. Problem is that green and white Juncos machine, Michael Young, now has Mateus Leist exactly 1 car behind.
Indeed, and now we have a move, and that is by Nicholas DePero trying to work to the outside of Mateus Leist. Then we have the machine of Ryan Norman in the back of the field. We have Garth Rickards. So for Kyle Kaiser, just trying to settle in. He's right behind Juan Pedrahita. They're just now climbing up the hill underneath that Honda bridge in turn 7.
That's a good pickup by Jake Query, Davey, because while Santi Urrutia and all the attention up front for this race win, really where we should be watching is all the way back in 10th and 11th where our championship duo run early on in this race.
Well, and the great thing from 2nd back to 12th right now is a tight race. And I mean, these guys are battling back and forth, so it's really exciting to watch. And you have to be, cautious of what you do. It's still early in this race. It's a doubleheader weekend. You want to get points on this race and not make that mistake. But I'll tell you, it's impressive on how close these guys are running.
Leaders make their way through turns 1 and turns 2. Jake, a lot of dirt kicked up by Dalton Kellett further back, but we look back at those championship contenders as Leist has his hands full with DePero, and it looks like Norman battling out into the keyhole.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Norman tried to bop to the outside. Leist got a really good look of that in his rear view mirrors. That allowed for DePero to be able to make a close and hold off that spot. But Leist, again, wants to be careful that he's getting a little bit of breathing room over that battle taking place behind him. He does not want to lose points.
All kinds of trouble for Nico Jamin. Reason being, he's got Colton Herta all over his rear wing. Colton looked to the outside, then to the inside. Jamin able to hold him off further back in the field. DePero and Norman, a nice battle going on, but that's a great battle, Nick Yeoman, for 2nd.
Yeah, fun to watch, Davey. Those drivers battling for 2nd. Pick and choose their spots through the S's because wherever Jamin was going, Herta was going to either the inside or outside.
Yeah, it looks like Herta definitely has a better race car. He's able to go wherever he wants to and stay right behind Jamin. So that tells me that his car has just a little bit better grip, and has some opportunity to use that push to pass now as well because he's close enough to him, and I expect to see it pass here momentarily.
That's allowed Urrutia to get a 2-second lead, Jake, but a good battle for that 2nd spot.
Colton Herta trying to swap in and get that spot back where he started. Nico Jamin running right now in the 2nd position, then Herta in 3rd, Blackstock, and then Clayman DeMello. But Herta, if he's going to make a move out of the keyhole, is going to have to do so quickly. He's got a half a car length to make up to Jamin.
As he looks to the inside, now works to the outside of Nico Jamin. Jamin will have the inside line, and it'll be a great pass by Colton Herta. Jamin tries to look back to the inside. Colton made that move, and Jamin looked back to the outside. Colton Herta made that look easy. He's already checked out about a car length over second or third place running Nico Jamin. Moved Colton Herta up to second.
How about that, Davey Hamilton? That's textbook on a road course.
Yeah, it is. I have to say, I was surprised their teammates because it was pretty aggressive pass and blocking, and then Herta got by him, then blocked him, but it worked, and now I do expect to see Colton Herta be able to check out. I think he has a faster car than Jamin, so we'll find out. Now, Blackstock, he's a contender, coming up, and so is Clement DeMello, so those top 5 guys are still close.
Yeah, as Santi Urrutia checks out a little bit, Jake, it looks like not only are Herta and Jamin battling for this second spot, but Blackstock and Clement DeMello have been sucked up into this battle as well, as all of those drivers about 2 to 3 car lengths between them.
It's the battle for fourth. Shelby Blackstock with Zachary Clement DeMello just behind him. Keep in mind, Clement DeMello won at Road America. Somewhat of a similar setup. Of course, a lot longer lap in Wisconsin. Zachary Clement DeMello, Michael, has about 2 car lengths to make up to get to Shelby Blackstock.
He's got a lot of work ahead of him, and actually that gap's starting to close just a little bit between Herta and Jamin. Herta able to gap his teammate about 2 car lengths. Jamin with a handful of steering wheel working through turn number 5. Blackstock about 2 car lengths behind. Then it's Zachary Clement DeMello. Then Neil Alberico, Dalton Kellett, and we round out that battle up there with Aaron Thielitz.
Well, it is a full Mazda Road to Indy weekend here at Mid-Ohio. Rob Howden, 7 races in the Mazda Road to Indy ladder system. You're with a driver who's already visited Victory Lane this weekend.
I'll tell you, this is a kid to watch. The team obviously coming together midway through Exclusive Autosport. But Parker Thompson, you have won 3 of the last 4 races. You swept the weekend in Toronto. You come back after a second place yesterday for a dominant win today. Tell me about your race win and how good that car was.
Oh, the car was absolutely on rails. The number 9-day open highway car was hooked up. I'm just proud we could go out there and dominate a race. We got some 2 good victories in Toronto, but I was proud to go out there and qualify 7/10 ahead of everyone and then go out and put on that show today. The competition on the Mazda Road to Indy is extremely tough, so anytime you can go out and do that is pretty impressive, and I can't thank Exclusive Autosports enough for what they've done.
Obviously a big step for the team as well. Brand new team. You came in with absolutely no data whatsoever, kind of a clean notebook, but you guys kind of worked all the way through the half of the season. They rallied around you when you got to Toronto. It just seems like there's a lot of momentum for the team right now.
Yeah, everyone's gelling together so well right now. My engineer and I are on the same page. I mean, every change he makes to the car, it's going faster and it's making improvements, and we showcased that in qualifying this morning. We've never came to Mid-Ohio before. All of a sudden, my engineer develops a car that's extremely quick. So the team's doing a fantastic job, but I tell you what, it's dedication. They've stuck to the process this whole year. We had a tough start to the season, but they kept their heads down. They kept their nose to the grindstone, and that's the results that you saw today.
You've pretty much locked in 3rd place in points. No chance of actually reaching for the title, so that allows you to go to Watkins Glen with no pressure, just win more races.
Exactly. I'm out to prove a point. My career is on the line. If I don't start winning races, honestly, I'm not sure I'll be around next year. So the goal right now is to prove that I belong in the Mazda Road to Indy and prove that I deserve a shot in Pro Mazda next year.
Congratulations on a great weekend.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Parker Thompson, guys, definitely a name to watch for, and he said he needs to win some races. He wants to get into that Pro Mazda program next year, Dave, first, but he does have to win races to make sure he turns someone's head.
Quick update on Santi Urrutia after the aborted starts at the beginning of this race. No doubt part of it was gamesmanship by Urrutia, but they believe down here, Tim Neff especially, there might be some radio issues. Tim's trying to talk to Urrutia. He's not even sure whether or not he's going to be able to hear him, and certainly Urrutia is not responding likewise. So keep that in the back pocket here as we go the rest of the way this afternoon. Some radio issues for the number 5.
Boy, Michael Young, you just saw a fantastic battle between Shelby Blackstock and Zachary Clement DeMello developing for the 4th spot.
Indeed, Zachary Clement DeMello looked to the outside. Blackstock hung to that inside, and as they got to turn number 4, it was the Clement DeMello machine just backed off enough to give Blackstock enough room to get through 4, 5, and 6, but they are nose to tail. Further back in that field, that's a battle. You talk about the points lead. Right there you have Kyle Kaiser, Mateus Lace, and the only thing holding up Kyle Kaiser right now is Juan Pedrahita, but Mateus Lace is coming as well.
And Jake Query, 2/10 a lap. It appears Colton Herta is beginning to catch Santi Urrutia.
And as he does so, he can't really shake loose of Nico Jamin. Those front 3 have pretty much checked out. Then it's Blackstock and Clayman DeMello. Neil Alberico then running just behind them. Leaders now coming to Michael Young.
That battle for fourth trying to shape itself back up again, but this time around Shelby Blackstock has about a 4-car length advantage over Zachary Clayman DeMello. So from Santia Urrutia to Colton Herta, about 8 car lengths, 3 more back to Nico Jamin, then Shelby Blackstock another 4 car lengths, 2 back to Zachary Clayman DeMello. Neil Alberico just hanging out in that 6th position, and further back in the field, Mateus Lace closed in on the rear wing of Kyle Kaiser. That caused Nico DePero to close up. Ryan Norman nearly ran into the rear wing of Nico DePero. Almost chaos here in the back of the field.
Davey, look at this mess of cars at the back of the field, and it's our 2 championship leaders involved.
Yeah, well, the one leading it's in the middle of it, I should say, Kaiser. He's in kind of a safe spot, but I'll tell you, I've been watching DePero and Norman, and those guys have been battling this whole race. And I'll have to say, I think DePero, he's on the verge of, race control, giving him a little. He's been doing a lot of blocking. You're allowed a move, but he's been making a move or 2 or 3 pretty much every lap, and it seems like every corner. So he needs to watch out. But meanwhile, he's trying to pass Lace. So it's a battle right through those 5 cars.
Jake, how about this Hornet's Nest making their way out of turn number 1, led by Juan Pedrojita with our 2 championship contenders in tow.
As a matter of fact, it seems as though Lace is closing in on Kyle Kaiser. Perhaps that is indeed because, as Michael said, Juan Pedrojita is checking up just a little bit. The points leader, Kyle Kaiser. Now Kaiser gets a little bit of breathing room. He picks up an extra car length through the keyhole.
So Juan Pedrojita is running in that 9th position. Our points leader is in 10th. Mateus Lace is in 11th. Nico DePero takes a look to the inside of Mateus Lace. They nearly touch, and Lace chops to the inside, almost put the left sides on the grass. Nico DePero gets around Mateus Lace. Now Ryan Norman starts to look to the inside, to the outside, back to the inside. Boy, Mateus Lace nearly had problems down here in 4.
Davey, Nico DePero, that's the definition of throwing it in there into turn 4.
Hey, that was a great move. Now, that was a pass that was clean, and that's how you need to do it. At last minute, surprise him. I think my biggest surprise is Lace these last few races. We just haven't seen what we know he could do, and boy, he's struggled this last half of the season, really.
Rob Houghton, I'm guessing the boys in the Juncos pit were pretty pumped to see that pass.
Yeah, not much to smile about so far. They've had pretty long faces for most of this race, Nick, but yeah, as soon as DePero went by, they were cheering, clapping their hands, big smiles, because not only is it a good run to see their young driver make a move there on Mateus Lace, but it also puts Lace back another spot, so that gives some more points for Kyle Kaiser. So a good position there, but DePero's actually going to go to work on his teammate now as well.
Yeah, here they come out of the keyhole. Nico DePero, he's just about a car length behind Kyle Kaiser. Michael Young, those teammates for Juncos, going to go side by side to turn 4.
A drag race down to turn 4. Pedrojita now about 8 car lengths. Kyle Kaiser said, "I'll let you go, teammate." So Nico DePero now moves up, washes up to the inside of turn number 5, gets around his teammate. So now Mateus Lace right back to where he was before, 12th, and the points leader, Kyle Kaiser, in 11th. Meanwhile, up front, Colton Herta is closing in on Sandy Urrutia.
Oh, he absolutely is, Michael. Been keeping my eye on the gap. It went from 1.6 seconds down to 1.4, down to 1.2, and this time across the line, Jake Query, it is 0.8 of a second. Colton Herta is running down that driver from Uruguay.
The front 8 have really separated themselves before you get to Pedrojita in 9th, but right now the story to watch is up front. Santi Urrutia with about a car length and a half advantage on Colton Herta. It's at the exit at the bottom of the keyhole, though, where Urrutia manages to get himself a little bit more speed off Colton Herta as they go into the flag stand.
So for Santi Urrutia, about a 5 car length advantage, but Colton Herta, as we said, continues to close in. Settling back in, Nico Jamin. Now, Zachary Clayman DeMello about 2 car lengths behind Shelby Blackstock. That battle is for the 4th position. It continues to unfold. Further back in the field, there's Pedrojita, and there's Nico DePero. And how about the points championship? Kyle Kaiser, Mateus Lace about a car length behind. He breaks heavy into turn number 4, now closes back within a car length of Kyle Kaiser. They continue, boy, that championship battle. You wouldn't think they'd be battling for 11th, but that's where they are.
Yeah, with all those drivers just buried deep in the field. Ryan Norman sneaking up on the back of Mateus Lace, as well as our championship leaders run 11th and 12th. And Rob Howden, I know we've still got 16 laps to go, but this has got some major implications in the standings.
Truly, Nick, flipping things upside down. Coming into this event, pretty much 7 drivers, all the way back to Nico Jamin, still with a mathematical shot at winning this championship. Santi Urrutia, of course, in 6th. You've got Aaron Telitz in 5th spot. 5 of the 6 drivers trying to challenge Kaiser for this championship, run in front of him right now. And, of course, they're up front as well. We know that Santi Urrutia leading, Herta in 2nd. This is going to flip things around because it's so surprising for Kyle Kaiser. Remember, guys, you look at his line for this year, all his results. 9th place, his worst finish. Almost every other finish in the top 6. 11th right now, easily his toughest event of the year. And you can't believe the way things are flopping around right now.
Davey, this is no doubt what guys like Santi Urrutia and Colton Herta needed with our championship drivers struggling here in Mid-Ohio.
Oh, without a doubt. Now we see right now, Lace, he's all over Kaiser. Meanwhile, Norman's all over him. Those 3 cars nose to tail, but this is exactly what Herta wants to see. He has now moved to 2nd in the championship, but still 49 points back. But right now, with Kaiser in that 11th position, could go worse. I mean, just every position really counts.
Yeah, a few more results like that from Kyle Kaiser, and then all of a sudden we've got a whole different championship picture. We are keeping our eye, again, it's towards the back of the field, but that is because our top 2 drivers in the championship are struggling. Boy, Lace sent it deep into the carousel trying to get to the rear wing of Kyle Kaiser's car. He had to brake late, and that allowed Ryan Norman to close the gap. Those championship contenders, though, Jake Query, they're running in tow. It's 11th and 12th, Kaiser and Laced.
And Laced is right there on Kyle Kaiser. Again, you might be asking yourself, why such focus on that battle for 11th? The answer is simple. That's because this is the points leader and the guy who is just behind him in the points, Matthias Laced. Ryan Norman, though, is going to push Matthias Laced as Laced trying to close on Kaiser.
And so right now it's a car length between our championship leader as Matthias Laced looks to the outside. He dives in late. Kyle Kaiser locks him up into turn number 4. Matthias Laced works that inside line, gets around Kyle Kaiser. Now near contact between Ryan Norman and Kyle Kaiser. So Matthias Laced moves in that 11th position, but boy, near championship implications as Kyle Kaiser nearly locked him up and put himself out of this race.
And now Kaiser has to hold on for dear life, just trying to protect the 12th position from Ryan Norman. This is our points leader here at Mid-Ohio with just 4 races to go. Davey, he is just struggling today to find grip.
Well, when you run 12th out of 14 cars and 13th is all over you like a cheap blanket, you got problems. You need to, hopefully they can learn from this race because he really can't afford to have this bad of a race tomorrow.
Jake Query, can Kaiser hold off Ryan Norman and hold on to that 12th position?
I'll tell you what, Norman is going to try to go to the middle of the racetrack, make a move. Kaiser closes the door. Kaiser locked him up just a little bit. Norman is right there on him. All of this is allowing Matthias Laced to separate just a little bit. Norman now, as they go to the top of the keyhole, going to try to look to the outside.
So for Ryan Norman getting very racy, now looks to the outside of Kyle Kaiser. He will dive in late. Kyle Kaiser will think better of it. Last time he locked him up, but that, of course, had championship implications. He'll let Ryan Norman by, and I think for Kyle Kaiser, he's just going to ride the rest of this one out. Meanwhile, up front, Nick Yeoman, last time by, Colton Herta closed in between 2 car lengths between he and Santi Urrutia.
Yeah, those 2 just made their way out of turn 13 across the start-finish line. As they head to you, Jake, the gap is just a half a second, but it is getting tight up front. Urrutia and Herta into turn number 2.
From my vantage point, when a car is right on the rear of the car in front of it, it starts to look like one coming into view. I can still see both of them when they come into view. Urrutia has just that much of an advantage, but Urrutia got locked up just a little bit at the bottom of the keyhole. Herta's right there, a car length and a half back.
And that allows him to take a look to the inside. He will actually try to make the move, thought better of it, but he let Santi Urrutia know he was there. Talking about Colton Herta, look to the inside, unable to make that pass, but that gap now down to about 2 car lengths. Urrutia rolls out of turn number 6. Right behind him is Colton Herta, and a nice battle for that 3rd place position as Nico Jamin and Shelby Blackstock starting a battle.
Davey, this is going to be a fun final 13 laps because Herta is faster, and if I know one thing, it's Santi Urrutia hates to lose. This is going to be a great battle for the win here.
Without a doubt. You know, the great thing, the 1st and 2nd, big battle. third and fourth, huge battle. And actually, fifth, Clayman DeMello was in there. Then from sixth, Alberico's kind of on his own, but all the way back, Kellett, Tiles, Pietraheta, DiPero, they're tight racing right now.
12 to go at Mid-Ohio. The leaders make their bend through turn number 1 and head towards the keyhole.
This time it looks like Urrutia has a little more advantage, but Herta closes it in as they enter the keyhole. This is the battle for the lead. It's a gold machine with the sun dancing off the top. That belongs to Santi Urrutia, but Colton Herta in that white and blue car number 98 is trying to reel in the leader.
And that gold chrome certainly shining for Santi Urrutia. 4 wins last year, looking for his first as Colton Herta makes a look to the outside. Santi Urrutia shuts the door. Now Herta goes to the outside, going into turn number 5. Colton Herta working all over the rear wing of Santi Urrutia. Urrutia able to hold him off now through turn number 6. They'll climb the hill through turn number 7, but boy, Colton Herta gave Santi Urrutia all he wanted.
Davey, he's able to hold him off for now.
Well, this is one thing with these push to passes. Such a huge disadvantage to be in the lead sometimes. If that car's behind you and he gets a push pass, you don't. I mean, it's such a huge disadvantage. So it's, you know, in the Verizon IndyCar Series, you all have push to pass. You use them when you want to use them. But, Mel, you're a sit and duck when you're leader, and you can't use it against the guy behind you.
That's right. New to the 2017 Indy Lights season, you got to be within 1 second of a car. You can use that push to pass. Jake Query, Colton Herta, plenty close to Santi Urrutia, just 0.4 of a second as they head to turn 2.
Now, anywhere Urrutia goes, Herta is able to put his car as well. Indeed, Davey might have called it. Herta earlier when you said he had the faster car than Nico Jimin, we knew that was the case. Michael, he might have the better handling car right now than Santi Urrutia.
Boy, if he hits that push to pass, Jake, it might put him in position again. A car length separates Urrutia and Colton Herta. Herta looked to the inside and then ducks back into line. So Urrutia, he'll able to fend him off this time as Colton Herta did not put the attack mode on, but that allows Nico Jimin to close back in a little bit. Jimin now about 3 car lengths behind Colton Herta. That's a great battle up front in this Indy Lights race.
Yeah, Davey, if Colton Herta wants to make the pass, he probably needs to make it soon because here comes Jimin, here comes Blackstock, here comes Clayman DeMello.
Yeah, the top 5 have closed back up, but I don't know if that's because Urrutia is slowing that group down or if those guys are just slowly gaining on them. My tires could be going off. We have 11 laps to go in this race, and right now, Sante is he's under pressure. We thought that he was going to run away, but we were wrong on that. So
across the line this time, Urrutia's advantage is 0.7 of a second. Rob Howden, I think it's safe for you to chat with Victor Franzoni as things calming down just a bit with 10 laps to go up front.
Definitely a lot of action on the racetrack, but this guy had some action himself. Victor Franzoni, congratulations. A big win in Pro Mazda today. It's a triple header this weekend. Anthony Martin scored the first win. You get the second win. You're back to the point lead. We got a great championship in Indy Lights, but we got a fantastic championship in Pro Mazda as well.
Yes, the race today was really nice. We won again, and this is really important. We are keeping the leading. Here, I think it's one of my problems, Mid-Ohio. I don't like this track, and I won today, so it was really good. We are leading. Juncos Racing is leading Pro Mazda with me, and also in Indy Lights, so this makes us even happier.
I know Anthony Martin's been real quick here. They got a great setup on that Cape car. Obviously, the Juncos car's fast as well. You seem like you were just a little tick behind throughout the weekend. Are you finding more speed in that car?
I think for qualify we were not fast, but for race I think we are better than them. I think I was faster in both races, but I just couldn't pass. This is the bad part of this track. You just can't pass if you're doing the same time than the first guy. And different from the Indy Lights, we don't have the push to pass, so this make our lives really, really difficult here. So I was struggling, and then I could go to first, and I won. But tomorrow's going to be difficult again because I'm not starting first.
Hey, good luck in race number 3.
Thank you very much.
Victor Franzoni, guys. Dave, I'll tell you, Dave first, this guy's a good little shoe. Won in USF 2000. He's a winner in Pro Mazda, currently leading the points.
Yeah, things have settled down a little bit out front between Urrutia and Colton Herta, and I stuck my ear in to hear what the guys were saying for Andretti Autosports. It turns out Colton Herta is completely out of push to passes now, so that perhaps was one of the reasons why things have settled down up front.
And Santi Urrutia just ripped off the fastest lap of the race, so that helps as well, Davey. That's now put Colton Herta in a very, very tough spot. He's close enough, to, I guess, to get a good draft off of Santi Urrutia down a couple of these straightaways. How about that battle for the 11th position, Michael Young, into turn 4?
It's indeed. Ryan Norman gets around Mateus Lace, so that will allow the Kyle Kaiser machine to see the rear wing of Matthias Lace, albeit about, I don't know, a turn and a half. They're already through the S's. So Matthias Lace just now crossing underneath the Honda bridge, and Kyle Kaiser closing in on it now. So that's about 4 seconds. Not going to help much, but that will change the point standings.
Back to the original point, though, Davey. How tough of a spot is Colton Herta now in without any more push to pass?
Yeah, so now they're equal again. Now Urrutia is obviously happy. He probably doesn't know that for sure, but it's happy that's going to happen. And now we see that gap because every lap, I think there was 3/10 of a lap that Urrutia is faster than Herta a couple laps ago. Now they're right on top of each other. So I expect it to probably end like this now. Does Jamin, that's a question. Does he have some push to passes that he could use on Herta?
Michael Andretti has drivers running second and third, Dave, first here in Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, did I hear correctly? Colton's out of push to passes?
I don't know.
That makes things more difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, if he is, I don't know. I'm hoping he's not, but we'll see.
How badly did Colton need a big weekend like perhaps this is turning out to be?
Well, yeah, it's a long way to go yet, but yeah, he needed it. I mean, you know, he's looking good in Toronto to win the race, and then unfortunately had a mistake. So, you know, he's got a lot of years ahead of him. He's going to make some of those mistakes, and that's why we're in this series to learn. And, you know, it'd be great if he can bounce back from that mistake this weekend for sure.
Got to ask you about Ryan Norman and that Journey sponsorship for the rest of the year. Are you a fan of Journey?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Journey. They're awesome. Yeah, that was something that Ryan brought on. I guess they're good friends with the guys there. And
his dad, John, I think, helped it on the...
Yeah, it's really cool to have him on board.
What's your favorite Journey song?
Oh, God, I don't know. There's too many of them to think of. They're all good.
You can just go with the obvious, Don't Stop Believing. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of guys are doing that in this series, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Never can stop believing.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Yep, that's Michael Andretti, one-time champion here at Mid-Ohio as well, keeping a close eye on Colton Herta, as well as Ryan Norman, Dalton Kellett, and Nico Jamin.
Here comes Ryan Norman, Michael Young. He'll pop to the outside of Nico DePero.
Indeed, they're too wide going into turn number 3. And Nico DePero will make the... Oh, he nearly lost it into turn number 4 at the exit. Had his hands full. That allows Ryan Norman to close back in. So Ryan sticks to the outside. He'll hit the brakes, allow DePero to get back around. Now looks back to the outside as they exit turn number 7.
Yeah, as they make their way through turn 8 and into Thunder Valley, this is where it becomes just so tight. It's so tough to pass, Davey, on that part of the racetrack that Jake and Michael can't see, and it's oftentimes a chance for these guys to get single file. But boy, it's tough to see those battles go to the wayside.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those areas that you're not going to make the pass, but you can set yourself up for that long straightaway to use that push to pass. And DePero makes a huge mistake right there. Goes a little bit wide in turn 12, and it allows Norman to get close to him. Now he's within that 1 second. Oh man, DePero's really loose going down into turn 1 as well. Norman gains up on him coming up that short straightaway, I should say, into turn 2.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of hand movement inside that cockpit of that number 48 car as all of these drivers are sliding these race cars around with just 6 laps to go. Here's how they run. It's Santi Urrutia followed by Colton Herta. Herta has slipped to 1.1 seconds behind. Then you've got Nico Jamin running in the 3rd spot, 2.1 seconds behind. Just a handful of car lengths back is Shelby Blackstock in 4th, a few more car lengths back, and you've got Zachary Clayman DeMello in 5th. Then you've got Neil Alberico kind of running his own race in 6th as he's 5 seconds behind Clayman DeMello. The rest of the top 10s, he's Kellett, Tielitz, Pedrohita, and DePero. Just 5 laps to go, though, here at Mid-Ohio. It's a doubleheader weekend. Santi Urrutia going to take that field, Jake Query, into turn number 2.
Urrutia has Colton Herta just behind him. Then it's Nico Jamin. Pretty good battle still for 4th. Shelby Blackstock and Zachary Clayman DeMello. They, of course, are rounding out the top 5. Blackstock trying to hold on that 4th position, but DeMello's been in his mirrors for the last few laps.
Yes, he has, Jake Query. I saw that last time as well. Good spot. And we have problems on the front straightaway.
Yeah, Nico DePero was battling tooth and nail with Ryan Norman and Davey off of turn 13. That car suddenly slowed as he gave up that spot, and a bunch much more. He's going to come to a stop right at the exit of pit lane.
Yeah, the engine was still running, so that tells me probably gearbox issues. He's locked the brakes up the last couple laps going into those final corners. He goes to come off of the final corner with just no power, and when he went by us, the engine was definitely running, but seems that maybe gearbox issues taking him out today.
So that green, white, and orange Mazda for Juncos Racing has come to a stop just at pit exit. Here come the leaders. They're clear far to the outside as they streak into turn number 1. Not sure what race control is going to decide to do with DePero's car, but Jake, just 4 laps to go, and the gap now down to just 0.6 of a second. Herta's not letting Urrutia get away.
And they come to a spot where things have gotten just a little bit slick. You can see some of those rear ends skip out just a little bit, but the front two handle it very well at the bottom of the keyhole. Urrutia now with about a 2-car length advantage over Colton Herta.
We'll pay attention to see if these guys have developed a push as they enter turn number 4. Down that long straightaway, even from first back to 5th, about 3 car lengths between all of the drivers. All hand move. It looks like Nico Jamin might be developing a little bit of that understeer. Other than that, top 5, like I said, about 2 car lengths between each of them. Then it's Neil Albarico 6th. Dalton Kellett 7th, and Aaron Telis running in that 8th position.
Final note on the Nico DePero situation, Davey. He was following race control's instructions at the end, wasn't he?
Yeah, when he came down that front straightaway under power, like I say, or the engine running but not under power, they just told him to pull off the end of pit lane. It's safe right there. They don't make pit stops, and the guys will go right around him so they can finish this thing off.
Here come the leaders out of turn number 13. Santi Urrutia. Looks like it's about a 6 or 7 car length advantage across the line. Just 3 to go here at Mid-Ohio. Urrutia, Jake, trying to score his first win of 2017.
There have been 6 different winners in the Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires in 2017. But to your point, Nick, Santi Urrutia, the veteran in this series, is not one of them. He gets just a little bit squirrely as he goes to the bottom of the keyhole, but Colton Herta is not able to take advantage of that. The gap the same as the last time by.
I think Santi Urrutia will be the first to tell you he's been very disappointed in this season. Had 4 wins last year, won both of these at Mid-Ohio, has yet to see a victory. Just a couple of second-place finishes. A matter of fact, 4 second-place finishes and 1 third. So it has been an abysmal season for that young man, who is very talented and exciting to watch, potentially coming home with a victory today.
Davey, I'm going to kind of suggest Indy Lights. Maybe let's have about a few more push to passes for these drivers. It'd be great to see Herta get up. He's not letting him get away. Just doesn't seem like he's able to get the run though to get close enough around you.
Yeah, these push to pass really make a big difference, and it mixes it up. And now it's a situation where tire wear is an issue right now. We see our leader Santi. He's sliding around those corners a little bit. That time by, he ran a 13.1, Herta 13.0, so Herta just a little bit faster. They've been going back and forth, but right now it looks like he's catching up to him going into turn 2.
At the same time, Jake Query, now it's all in the driver's hands. No mechanical advantages at all.
9 different podiums on the season for these two, but only 2 wins. Both belong to Colton Herta. Is Santi Urrutia headed to his first of the season? Michael, he's got a couple laps left to hold off that 98.
The gap visibly closing between the first and second place runners. Santi Urrutia through the exit of turn number 4. Colton Herta still about 2 car lengths behind as they climb down through turn number 5 and down to the bottom of turn number 6. Urrutia just bobbles ever so slightly out of turn number 6 as he gets back onto the throttle. Colton Herta starting to close in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is a tight battle for the win here in the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires. Both of these drivers certainly have probably used up these Cooper tires. Those cars sliding around this racetrack. Here they come through the carousel. Santi Urrutia just a couple corners away from seeing the white flag. The advantage is about 3 or 4 car lengths out of turn 13. Tom Hansing waves the white flag. Santi Urrutia, 1 to go. Jake Query as he tries to hold off Colton Herta for race win number 1 in 2017.
And Colton Herta is closing as they exit turn number 1. The distance now is just about a half a car length. Santi Urrutia going through the gearbox at the bottom of the keyhole. Colton Herta tried to keep it just a little bit lower in through turn number 2. Here they come with a car length and a half behind them, or between them, Urrutia and Colton Herta.
So for Santi Urrutia trying to make more of that Mid-Ohio magic, Colton Herta looks to the inside. He will break extremely late into turn number 4. Santi Urrutia climbs hill to the turn number 5 for the final time. Now down to turn number 6. Colton Herta still closing in. Urrutia out of turn number 6 and now up to turn number 7.
Boy, these two drivers have been absolutely perfect today. Herta gets along the red and white curbing to the entrance of turn number 8 and through number 9 through Thunder Valley. Can he hold on, and can Herta make the run to get to Urrutia? Now they set up for the final couple corners of the carousel. Urrutia keeps that Aero golden black Mazda to the red and white curbing to the inside. Herta's going to get to within a couple car lengths out of the final corner. He'll hold them off. Santi Urrutia waves to his crew at the inside of pit lane. He will go to victory lane and score the win here at Mid-Ohio. Colton Herta, a great effort, will come home in second. Nico Jamin, he held off Shelby Blackstock for third. Blackstock finishes fourth. Zachary Clayman-DeMello finishes fifth. Top 5, Davey, separated by just 3.3 seconds. That's as good as you're going to get in any form of motorsports.
Yeah, and that's one thing this racetrack brings it. Even though it's hard to pass, it brings very close racing. And how about that Blackstock? Good. I think that may be his best finish of the year, too, in that 4th position. Or he may have had a podium earlier. I'm not sure.
Not much difference a year makes. Victory lane here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course and Indy Lights last year. Victory lane at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course and Indy Lights this year. Santi, congratulations. What was the hardest part about that race?
Thank you. I mean, it was a good race. For sure, it was difficult all the race long. I have been struggling a little bit with the tires. But the team gave me a great car. I mean, they deserve this win. We have been working so hard this year. I mean, we had bad results, good results, and finally we got the win. I think they did a great job, and yeah, I'm happy to be back at the top. I have to say thank you to everyone who helped me to be here, the team, my sponsor, Cooper Tires and Mazda. So yeah, what else I can say? I mean, I'm happy.
No donuts this time?
Who knows? Probably a beer and donut tonight to celebrate. Would be nice.
A beer and donuts. Santiago Urrutia scores the win at the Cooper Tires Indy Lights Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio, presented by Allied Building Products. Santi, congrats, buddy.
Thank you.